cops show up at your office?
Yes, I was
3 times.
Just yesterday.
That's why he's all irritated right now. He had a cop show up, and the gym was locked.
And it's only Tuesday.
And it's only Tuesday. The dude is not having a good week.
I want to punch somebody right now.
This is nuts, man. It's so crazy. And the thing is, like, you know, pretty much everyone is wearing masks. Everyone is social distancing, and yet the numbers keep going up. So, like, ding, 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 like, something's not right here. Something's not working. What's going on? And flu is non-existent now, right? There's no cases of the flu anymore.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
We built up such a strong immune system from COVID, we're immune to the flu.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Okay, how do we do this again? Do I introduce you? You introduce yourself? How do we do this introduction? Because we always screw it up. I go, hi, I'm this person. He says he's that person.
Yeah,
That is
right?
Dr. Fred.
Yep, Dr. Fred DiDomenico, Dr.
So I'm not Doug DeCiano.
No, not this time.
Not this time, yeah.
I keep screwing that up, man.
And then Resurrecting.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
And that's it. Alright, here we go. Take 2.
Hi, I'm Dr. Fred DiDomenico, and you are?
I'm Dr. Douglas DeCiano.
And this is Resurrecting Our Freedom. And today we are fired up because we have a colleague, friend that we've known for a while, Dr. Clint Steele. Man, you are a purpose-driven chiropractor. You created this movement. You got a Facebook page with doctors from all over the world that are following you. You're starting this new app. You're really making an impact in the movement towards healthcare, bringing this out to the general public. And we want to let people know about it because there's no better time in our life than right now where we need to get the world healthy, get out of fear, get past all this COVID bullshit, and really take responsibility and make a difference in the world. So thank you for being here.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it, man. You guys look great. Wish I could be sitting in the same room with you, but, you know, we'd have to have our masks on, and that wouldn't work so well. So this will have to work.
Yeah, that would suck.
This is good social distancing right now.
Yeah,
Like 3,000 miles.
California and Maine. Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hey, we want people to know the man behind the mission. So how'd you get into chiropractic, and what drove you to your passion, your purpose to become a leader, and what you're doing today? So how did you originate?
How did I originate?
Yeah.
We won't go back that far, man.
Yeah.
I got started in chiropractic because I wanted to help people, right? I wanted to help people with their health. At the time, I was playing college football, and I wasn't getting much playing time. I went in to see the coach one day, and I said, Coach, I was a freshman. I wanted more playing time. He says, you got to get in the weight room. You got to eat more. I said, I'm doing that, Coach. He says, well, I'll have the captain come talk to you. A couple of days later, the captain came to talk to me and said, we need to get you on steroids. And I said, dude, I'm not going on steroids, man. I said, even if I wanted to, where would I get them? And they said, the local medical doctor is supplying us. And so at that point, I said, you know what? I want to help people with their health, but I don't want to be given drugs, stuff like that. And so that's when I started looking at other ways to help people. And that's when I came across chiropractic. And so in 93, I graduated from chiropractic school, set out to change the world through chiropractic. Unfortunately, as you guys know, and many of your listeners may know, most people, when they think chiropractic, they think neck and low back pain. And so I opened up my doors thinking I was going to help people with all kinds of different problems and get them well. And unfortunately, I was slapped in the face with a community that just wanted me to take care of neck and low back pain. And so having to pay bills, student loans, raising a family, I said, come on in, we'll figure this out, thinking I could educate them and convince them that chiropractic was about so much more. And it didn't happen. After 17 years, I still had a neck and low back pain practice. I constantly needed new patients to pay the bills because people would come and see me, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. And then they loved me because I got rid of their neck and low back pain, but then they left never to return again. And so they missed the big picture of chiropractic. And so I quit. I was never going to practice again. I started selling Kirby vacuum cleaners door to door. Actually, what I did was I started a business performing acts of kindness. And we set a goal of performing 1 million acts of kindness in 1 year. We ended up hitting 2.8 million acts of kindness in 1 year all over the world, wow, which was great, but it didn't make any money, right? So I found myself broke after a couple of years, and I didn't want to get back into chiropractic. So I started selling Kirby vacuum cleaners door to door. Amazing vacuum cleaner, but a sucky job, man. Like it sucks going door to door selling a vacuum cleaner, especially as a doctor, right? I was embarrassed, not that there's anything wrong with it, but I had so much more potential. And my grandmother let me know. She sent me a letter one day, basically saying she was ashamed of me, how I wasn't living up to my potential, and I was pissed. Oh, I was pissed at her for a couple of days, and then I realized she was right. And so I said, okay, I'm getting back into chiropractic, and I did. I was completely broke. Well, I had $1,000 to my name. I started in a 700 square foot office, 100% cash. I went from 0 to 500 patient visits a week in 6 months. And now 6.5 years later, I have patients that started with me 4 or 5 years ago. They come in every week to get their adjustments, not because they have neck pain or low back pain, but because they know it's good for them, right? I've seen diabetes reverse, high blood pressure reverse. I've seen stage 3 kidney disease reverse. I've seen Crohn's disease reverse. Like that's the power of the body. That's the power of chiropractic. That's the power of the brain and the nervous system when there's no interference. So,
yeah, I mean, what a great story, man. So I have a couple of questions that may seem obvious. Now, do you think your grandmother did it intending to piss you off so you would do something, or do you think she was generally just pissed off at you?
oh, I think she was trying to get me to. She's passed now, but I think she was trying to get me to get back into chiropractic.
She was trying to pull your chain, in other words. well, she must know you pretty well because it worked, right? And then I have to say, I mean, I practiced for 14 years, but the fact that you stayed in a symptom-oriented practice for 17 years, dude, you have stamina and endurance, right? Because you know what that model's like, man, especially when you know the principle is about health. But you didn't know that back then, did you?
Well, I knew the principles of health, yeah, and I say that I knew it, but I don't know that I lived it. You know, the way I compare it to like someone who goes to Planet Fitness and a CrossFitter, right? Like a CrossFitter is like passionate, like you've got to do this, you got to try this WOD, you've got to eat paleo, it's just coming out, right? As compared to someone who goes to Planet Fitness 3 days a week and walks on the treadmill for 30 days. There's no passion there, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the way I practiced for 17 years. I knew the truth of chiropractic, but I wasn't passionate about it. I wasn't living it. I guess I wasn't 100% convinced, maybe. I'm not sure, but.
So we get what sparked your purpose. Thanks, Grandma. So where did you already know the principle? And for people that aren't chiropractors, brain and spinal cord and the spine are the foundation of health and life in the body. So, any postural distortions, subluxations, bones are out of place, shuts down the energy, and then you get sick. So chiropractic is a healthcare system. It's not back pain. I mean, back pain and neck pain are just a sign your spine's injured. But you fix it and your body gets healthy. Health is restored, right? Because health comes through that nerve energy. So what gave you that? I mean, I understand that, but then all of a sudden you started creating this healthcare practice. So it was more than just your grandmother. What tuned you into that principle?
Well, I think there was a few things that happened. One was my grandmother's letter. The other thing that happened was a friend of mine was out practicing in Colorado. He had only been out for probably a couple of years, and he had testimonials on his Facebook page of people reversing things like depression and anxiety, and one guy had acid reflux that he reversed. We had erectile dysfunction that reversed. And I started seeing this, and I called him up one day, and I said, dude, what do you do? Are you doing acupuncture? Are you doing nutrition? Like, what else are you doing? Because all I had seen for 17 years was neck and low back pain and an occasional headache. He says, no, I'm just adjusting the spine. I said, well, dude, that's what I did for 17 years. So obviously I did something wrong. And so that kind of propelled me into looking more into the science, looking more into the research about chiropractic, other than just neck and low back pain. I started following guys that were doing amazing things with chiropractic, and I just became committed to learning more about it and how to share that message with my following, and it just kind of built from there.
Cool, man. So then all of a sudden, man, now you have this practice. You have a full practice, busy practice. Then your purpose started moving beyond that, and then you started a group, the Truth About Chiropractic. I mean, that's not the official name, but yeah. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's called TruChiro. what happened was about probably it happened right away. I would share the truth of chiropractic with my patients and tell them, chiropractic is not about neck and low back pain. It's about the brain and the nervous system. And their eyes would get really big, and they would say, wow, I had no idea that's what chiropractic was about. And so they would start referring their friends and family members, and all, my practice exploded. But one of the things that happened was they would say, well, I've got a brother in California or a sister in, Oklahoma. Do you know a chiropractor there that practices the way you do? And so I had my wife at the time, can you find a chiropractor in Oklahoma or wherever? And it was difficult. It was like she would go to these places, she would search online, and all we found was neck and low back pain, chiropractors promoting neck and low back pain. And we're like, this is nuts, man. Like, it is so hard to find a chiropractor that practices what I call the truth. And so we said, let's start a searchable database. Let's number one, let's educate the public on a mass scale about the truth of chiropractic. And then let's put together these true chiropractors in a searchable database. So when people hear the truth of chiropractic, they can find a chiropractor that practices, based on the brain and nervous system. And so that's kind of how it started. And then we had docs coming to us asking us how we, how I grew my practice from what it was to what it is now. And so we started putting together systems and different opportunities for them to be able to do the same thing.
So your Facebook page, what's the name of your Facebook page?
So we have a public Facebook page for anyone. It's called TruChiro, TruChiro. So there's no E, TruChiro. And then we've got a private Facebook group just for docs that's called Chiropractic Truthtellers, where we share a lot of great information, and we bring these docs together and help build each other up and help motivate each other and encourage each other and educate each other and
How many doctors do you have in the program?
So in our Truth Teller group, we've got about I think we just passed 1,800, actually. We're about 1,800 docs.
Nice. Well, and I want to tell you, if you're watching this and you're the general public, you need to go to the TruChiro page, because we're in a time in the world. I mean, what are we looking at? We're looking at lockdowns. We're looking at all the fear of the virus. I was in Whole Foods yesterday, and this woman was, the 6 foot dots. She was 2 dots behind me with a mask. I mean, she was probably only 2 years older than me, but she looked 10 years older. And the fear in her eyes, I just felt so much compassion. It's people like that need to know the message of chiropractic, that her immune system is dependent on her nervous system, which is dependent on her spinal alignment. And of course, her posture was like an older person. And the compassion that I felt. So go to that public page, TruChiro, right? TRU Chiro.
Yeah, TruChiro. Yep.
Yeah, and get involved with that and get smart, because we live in a world where if you don't do your homework, you're either a victim or a activist. You need to be an activist in your own life. So go there.
I will just add on to that point.
Yeah.
You know what's really cool about being in the chiropractic profession right now is the conversation is truly shifting towards one of wholeness and wellness. Because now we know that elderly people are the ones getting sick, younger people don't. Sick people are getting sick, healthy people don't. So there's nothing in the medicine war chest can help people optimize their true potential. There's not a drug that can make your innate more powerful. But we can release that power that's within, and we can optimize all human potential. And we're the only ones that I'm aware of that can actually do that.
Absolutely,
How cool is that?
100%. Yeah. And that's where it's at. And unfortunately, most people don't know that. Okay. And so that's what we're doing. That's what our message is all about. We've got, we've got different, we'll talk about the app here in a little bit, but, we've got programs out there where we just, every single week, we're educating people based on science. We back it all by research or with research on, how stress affects your immune system, how these chemicals affect your immune system, lack of exercise affects your immune system, how the chiropractic adjustment allows the brain, and specifically the prefrontal cortex, to help reduce stress levels so that your body can function better. Most people have no idea that that's the case, but when they start finding that out, they start asking these questions, right? We change the conversation so that they start asking these questions. Well, I've got a son that gets sick every year, or, I've got my husband who has high blood pressure, or he has, he gets the flu 3 or 4 times a year, whatever. Like, can chiropractic help? And so it starts this question, and it starts raising these thoughts in their mind that, wait a second, maybe there's a better way, right? And there is, just people don't know about it. And what I've found is that once people find out about it and they know the truth, they want it.
Well, and once they experience it, they're hooked. Sorry to interrupt. I mean, we know, and you're still in practice now, and you're practicing, Clint. It's like once they experience it, man, it's life-changing, right? Then they don't go anywhere else. And that's the lack of knowledge becomes wisdom through experience. You want to be wise your whole life, take responsibility of your health, experience a great chiropractor. So just real quick, as long as we say that, now you have where can they get a list of principal doctors that will teach them these principles?
So if you go to TruChiro.org, TruChiro.org, we've got a searchable database there. If you're a chiropractor that practices the truth, we need you in there. If you're someone who's looking for a true chiro, please go there. We've also got we've got a blog that we add to every single week with great content, great information. We've got videos in there. We've got testimonials in there for everything from Crohn's disease to high blood pressure to depression to anxiety. Just awesome stuff there.
We really need to. I'm loving what you're doing, and I love what Fred does, because it's so terrible when people, the public, not knowing, goes into a chiropractic office, which is basically a modality for physical therapy for neck and back pain. And then they're under the impression this is what chiropractic is. And yet it's interesting to me that because I do about 4 interns in my office a season per year, and then I try to inform them, educate them, and now actually my interns are required to go through Dr. Fred's program, so they understand the tick, they understand what we do. But if you think about it this way, that some chiropractors are, I would say more than not, are having a broad scope in terms of the modalities they use, but it's an ever narrow scope in terms of the conditions they take care of. Whereas true chiropractic, we may do a narrow scope of what we do, but literally what we take care of is everything from A to Z. So it literally opens the door to allow this potential of chiropractic to be really turned on to every human being. So literally every human being is a candidate and will benefit from the services that we offer.
Hey, that's really good. That's good shit right there, Maynard. Don't you think?
That was really good, man.
I like that wide, narrow thing.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, and it's totally true. When I went from, my previous practice for 17 years, I had physiotherapy, I had, all this stuff, like a 3,000 square foot office, and all I saw was neck and low back pain and an occasional headache. Now I open up, I have a 700 square foot office. All I do is adjust the spine. And I've seen everything from, like I said, Crohn's disease to, depression and anxiety and IBS and everything in between.
Hey, I want to talk about my shirt right here. This is from CalJam, right? This is Ross Weaver, who was the most jailed chiropractor. So actually, and the story is the way chiropractic became popular, right, was in 1918, the Spanish flu killed, I don't know how many, like over 1 million people or whatever. But the people that were going to medical doctors for the Spanish flu, they had a much higher death rate, and they sent them to chiropractors, and they would live. And it eventually turned out that the MDs would send the chiropractors send the patients, the ones they gave up on and thought were dying, and they would send them to chiropractors. And I think it was like 263 or something like that. People were sent home to die, and only 23 or 24 ended up dying. The majority of them ended up living. And that's how chiropractic got on the map. But then they threw chiropractors in jail because they said they're practicing medicine without a license. And then you see all the old pictures, man, where the patients would stand and rally in front of the jail. Now, why is this important today? Because there's no difference between that day and now states and governors that are telling you, like up in Washington, they're telling you can only see 25% of your patients. They're trying to put the most powerful healthcare system in the world back in jail. And not only are we taking a stand, I appreciate what you're doing, but as chiropractic patients, we need to take a stand and stand up for our freedoms to make a choice on our health care that we say we are not going to take that vaccination. I don't know, the whole Pfizer 90% effective thing, when you look at that, it's all bull. It's not even science to how they came to 90% effective. But the bottom line is this is our right to make our choice in our body, to stay away from what the pharmaceutical companies want us to do, and to really go to what really keeps our body healthy and gives us the confidence to live a lifestyle that we don't have to worry about all that stuff that's going on outside, because what's inside is bigger.
Absolutely.
Amen. Amen. Preacher, brother.
Well, you guys are good, man. You make a good team.
Yeah. We just affirm each other all the time. That's all it really is.
That's all. But going back to what you said, Pfizer or whoever, Moderna or whatever, a vaccine that's 90 to 95% effective, depending on what the numbers look like, for a virus that has a survival rate of like over 98%, like 99%, like, hello, like, why would I inject this thing into me if I have a 99% survival chance of surviving if I get it? It makes no sense, right? It makes absolutely no sense.
Can we have a show on just the vaccination?
Yeah, we'll do that. That'll be another show.
Just how they even got to those numbers. I don't know if you're aware of that, Clint, but just for our viewers, they had 45,000 people in the trial. Out of those 45,000, they ended up having 95 people who actually had the infection, and they took a small 10% of that. So this trial that they did to come to the numbers that they got to, it's all just mathematical, nonsensical computing is what it is. So I think we should have a show. I would love to show a graph, if we can do it, of all of how they got to that 90% and the 95%.
Well, they had 94 asymptomatic people that they injected with the vaccination. Only 9 people got sick. So even though I think it's 85% end up being asymptomatic anyway, it's only a little under 15% that even develop symptoms. And then it was a very overdiagnosed 0.26 death rate. So there's an 85% that those 94 people are going to be asymptomatic anyway. 10% got sick, and that's only 94 out of 45,000, which is a 0.2% they actually did the experiment with. And so that's all bullshit. Well, so that's not even science. But the bottom line is the message, right? So we're going to avoid all that, and where are we going to move to? And so I appreciate that you're bringing this out to the general public.
Well, people just need to be aware. They just, I would be interested to find out how many people actually understand the fact that they are in control of how strong their immune system is based on their daily choices. I would guess that it's minimal, right? I think probably some people think that, if they eat healthier, it's gonna help a little bit, or they do this or that. But I don't think people understand. They think that it's all genetic, and that's the message, as well as the chiropractic message. But the chiropractic message is about that. It's about not only the chiropractic adjustment, the effects of stress, but also lifestyle changes, the 3 T's: thoughts, trauma, and toxins, and how that affects people's lives too. So people need to be aware of that. People need to know that, and they need to know that, like you said, they need to be advocates for themselves instead of being victims. They need to be, as Joel Osteen says, victors, right? They need to stand up for themselves and understand, like, they are in control of this.
I was going to affirm what you were saying, because if you watch any of the major news media, boy, you are void of an immune system. You better stay inside your house, and you better wait and pray that there's a vaccine that comes soon, and soon couldn't be soon enough. Until then, you're susceptible, and that fear is actually causing so much damage to our society. Again, let's go back. I say this almost every podcast, Clint. The amount of suicides up about 64,000 people. You can't take that back. The amount of overdoses from fentanyl and other drugs, you can't take that back. the amount of socialization or the lack thereof, because little kids are now walking around with a mask on, that is a social experiment. And I can tell you the outcome is not going to be good. So as I love what Dr. Scott Adams, that's his last name, right? Dr. Scott, the radiologist who's the head of the
no, it's not
oh
Atlas.
no, Scott Atlas.
Atlas.
Dr.
Yeah.
Scott Atlas, I heard him just today say this: you get what you put up with. I thought that was very telling from a person that's the head of a government agency. Clint, we get what we put up with. So it's about time we do not put up with this, and we take a stand.
Yeah, and chiropractic is the stand. So now you're even going to the next level. You're creating an app for the general public that will have access to, and for these principled health-based chiropractors. So tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's totally free. So go download the app and at your either Apple, store or your Google Play Store. Again, it's TruChiro, TruChiro, and once you download it, make sure you push you turn your push notifications on. Once a week, we put a blog in there. We send a push notification out that educates people on how to take care of themselves. This week, we're talking about vitamin D. Like, have you seen the research on vitamin D? Unbelievable. And before, I just want, do we have some time? Can I share this real quick?
Yeah.
So vitamin D, going back to 1988 through 1994, they studied 19,000 people. Like, this is not a small study. 19,000 people. And they found that those that were deficient in vitamin D were more likely to get upper respiratory tract infections. Okay. So chiropractors, when COVID first hit, chiropractors are like, let's go. We need vitamin C. We need vitamin D. You need to exercise. You need to sleep. You need to increase your water intake, like all these lifestyle changes. Right. And so the government then, I don't know who came out with this. I don't know if it was Fauci or someone, but they started to place precautions on taking vitamin D. They said, no, you shouldn't be taking vitamin D. It's gonna create problems. And I remember I did a video on this. And I had one chiropractor reach out to me and say, that's ill-advised right now. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? And so now, September 2020, right? JAMA, okay, Journal of American Medical Association comes out with a study says 80% of those who have COVID have decreased vitamin D levels, right? And on top of that, let me share this with you. On top of that, they said vitamin D levels, if you have correct vitamin D levels, you're 51.5% less likely to die from COVID. 51.5%. So getting back to my point, this week we did a blog on vitamin D. Last week we did a blog on exercise. We do blogs on stress and the immune system. So just great information there, number one. Number two, we've got the searchable database there so people can find a TruChiro in their area. Number three, we're running health and wellness challenges. So we did one a few weeks ago on gratitude, because your thoughts affect your immune system. So the more you're grateful, the stronger your immune system. Research shows this. We've got it all backed by research, okay? And so we did this gratitude challenge. We had hundreds of people all over the world do this. We had 3 different countries actually do this. In November, the end of November 30th through December 13th, we're doing a challenge called No Flu for You. No Flu for You, a 14-day boost your immune system challenge, right? So we're going to go 14 days. We're going to teach people how to strengthen their immune system just with lifestyle changes. And so these are some other things. It's totally free, by the way, to participate. And in addition, we will soon have an opportunity to work with chiropractors to release to their patients exercise programs, mindset training programs, meal plans, to go along with their chiropractic adjustment to help people with overall health and to get them well again.
So download that app, TruChiro, and man, this is so great for what you're doing. I mean, we are giving people the armor, I guess you could say, or the tools and strategies that can change the world and get through all this and take a stand. and say that we have the right to choose our health care, and you're giving them the vehicle and the information and the systems that they can do it and not fall victim to all this government stuff. And by the way, going back to the vaccination, you know, in mainstream media, the whole thing is, it's just great marketing. Like, mainstream media is just great marketing that's funded by the pharmaceutical companies. So if you understand that mainstream media is marketing, now that's like saying, wow, that is a great commercial on that new freaking Dodge Caravan. I don't want the Caravan. I don't ever want a Caravan. I will not ever buy a Caravan. But that is great fucking marketing. That's what mainstream media is. I don't ever want a fucking vaccination. I don't know, will ever worry about COVID, but that is great marketing for people that want to get COVID and they want to get a vaccination.
Yep, absolutely.
If you see it like that, it's like, I don't want a Caravan. I like my motorcycle. I'll buy a Suzuki, another Suzuki.
Right.
Hayabusa, really fat. I like that, but I don't want a minivan. You know, minivans are cool.
Nothing against minivans.
Yeah, nothing against minivans. Sorry, Dodge. But that's all mainstream media is. It's just freaking marketing. So don't treat it like it. Don't treat it as truth.
Well, here's the other thing. Yeah, don't treat it as true. But here's what's happening. Look at the majority of people, you mentioned it earlier, the majority of people that do get COVID are either asymptomatic or their symptoms are like minimal, right? But we don't hear about that in mainstream media. What do we hear about? We hear about the deaths. We hear about the 25-year-old bodybuilder that died, you know, like the 1 in a million chance, right? You hear about all these horror stories that's creating fear, more fear and more fear and more fear. And yet we didn't hear about this when it was a flu. You know, 70,000 people die every year of the flu. Did we hear about every single one? Did we hear every single day what the flu rates were, what the flu death rates were? No. And so mainstream media has jumped on this thing and totally, like, the fear mongering is unbelievable, like unbelievable.
Well, not only that, but from your own experience with patients, have you ever seen the spine of a 20-year-old bodybuilder? You ever x-ray spines of bodybuilders?
Yeah.
They are smashed.
Yeah.
Like, dude, those 400-pound squats, well, I was one of them. But, you know, you got like a 500-pound squat and a 400-pound deadlift for reps. Yeah, look at your spine. No wonder you're sick. So, man, you're coming out with this app. You're doing great things. TruChiro. People need to get on it. So what's your vision, man? I mean, you're creating these vehicles. You're making a difference in the general public. You're just getting started. What's your vision for all this?
My vision is to move more and more chiropractors in the profession towards health and wellness. Pull them out of this neck and low back pain crap, okay, and put us into a position that we deserve, which is as preferably primary healthcare providers, where we are the first option for people to come to get their health back instead of covering it up with medication or end up in surgery. There's no need for it in majority of cases. There's just no need for it. People are dying out there because they're on medication. Doc, you pointed it out. You know, medication or surgery, where these people are dying when, if they had been in a chiropractic office, a true chiropractor's office, the chances are they would never have gone down that path. And so we need more chiropractors to take the lead, move away from neck and low back pain, move towards a wellness model, move towards the brain and the nervous system being the source of health, and making sure that's where it starts and that's where it ends, and doing everything that we can to make sure that happens.
Well, the bottom line is the world is calling for it, right? So if you're a chiropractor listening to this, the world is calling you to get principled, get clear, understand that you didn't just choose this as a job or career. You chose this as a soul, S-O-U-L, purpose. And when you come into that purpose, then you're not going to succumb to what the government says. You're going to become a leader. You're going to lead people into health, and we're going to make a difference that helps people stand up for their God-given rights. And chiropractic is at the tip of the spear of healthcare, so take responsibility for it.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more,
Did the mic just drop on that one?
That was it. That was it. Boom. That's true.
So What words you want to leave them with, Clint? How do they get we've already gone through how they get a hold of you. Final words, maybe review what they can do again.
Take responsibility. Stop listening to mainstream media. Stop listening to these people. Just even don't listen to us. Start doing some research. Start figuring it out for yourself. Ask yourself some tough questions. And figure out the conclusion. And 99.9% of the time, you're going to conclude that yes, health comes from within. It doesn't come from a pill. It doesn't come from a potion. It doesn't come from surgery. It comes from within, and that's the direction that I need to take for myself and my family, and then partner with someone that can lead you down that path. Someone that's an expert, like a true chiropractor, so that they can help you and your family reach ultimate health and stay healthy.
Awesome, man. Love you. Love what you're doing. Love your purpose and love your heart to bring a message to humanity that can make the world different. So those are my final words. How about you?
My final words are simply this: chiropractic first, drug second, and surgery only as a last resort.
I don't know.
I got a question for Clint. What kind of questions should we be asking ourselves as somebody looking into our health? You mentioned somebody should ask themselves a question and not trust who they're looking at. What are the questions that we should be asking ourselves?
Well, depending on who you're listening to, if your medical doctor says, you need to go on this medication, ask yourself, what is this medication doing? How long am I going to be on it? Is it really fixing the problem? If you're listening to Fauci or you're listening to some of these other guys, like where are they coming from? Where are they getting this so-called quote unquote science? Look it up, figure it out, like do some research, like be an advocate for yourself. But bottom line is, I think the biggest question is how do I ultimately make myself healthy? I mean, what is it that I need to do? Is it taking this medication? Is that ultimately going to bring me health, or is that going to just lead to more problems? And so, those are some of the questions I think that people need to ask themselves. What is true health? What is real health? Like, what is health? Is it just masking symptoms with a medication? Is it getting the surgery so that my appendix can be removed or my tonsils can be removed? I mean, what function do these organs play in my body that's going to affect me? And is there a better way? So I think those are some of the questions. I think one of them, just what I said, is there a better way? Asking that question and then doing the research to find out if there is a better way.
Well, I also think a great question to ask yourself is, like you said, if you're being recommended a medication, is that the easy way out? Because the easy way out isn't necessarily going to get you where you want, right? Like, we can take the easy way because getting healthy can be challenging, but staying healthy is easy. Once you learn how to get healthy, staying healthy is easy. It becomes a mindset and a lifestyle. And so this is something, I'll say in my coaching group, if you're going to start a habit, you'll probably fail, because research shows you need anywhere from 28 to 263 times, consecutive times. Now, if that's 263, imagine doing something 182 times in a row, missing once, and then having to start from zero. You'd be like, no, I'd rather quit, right? But when you say it's not a habit, it becomes a lifestyle. Then, it's like we have a lifestyle of eating healthy. I love my burger and french fries that we had with you and my sister on Sunday, but I don't live that way. So a lifestyle doesn't have to be perfect. It's just consistent. You know what I mean? If you're looking for perfection, it's not going to get there.
Going down that same path, it's like these people that want to lose, 40 or 50 pounds. And they say, well, I'm going to eat healthy, until I lose this 40 or 50 pounds. But then they go back to their old eating habits. What happens? Their 40, 50 pounds come back, usually more. So yeah, it does. Just like you said, Doc, it comes down to changing your lifestyle. Okay. And ultimately that comes down to what do you want for your life? How do you want, the old rocking chair scenario where people, these coaches and experts say, picture yourself at 90 in a rocking chair on the deck, outside, you're looking back at your life and you're thinking, man, what should I have done differently? And how's my health now? Like, what should I have done differently? And so people look back and they say, yeah, that's what I needed to do. I needed to make different choices to get me to a point where, instead of being in a hospital or having my family take care of me, I'm still playing with my great grandkids and I'm enjoying my life,
Yeah. And if you're at 90 asking yourself that question, you're probably a lot younger than 90, right? You didn't make it to 90. If you got to ask that question, you're asking that question in the rocking chair at 70. That's the problem. So, hey, man, for a dude that's going to turn 60, him too, man, we're going to be 60 next year here in a few months. So, nice. Yeah, we're not ready for the rocking chair.
Not yet, baby. We have some stuff.
Maybe for a nap occasionally on a Sunday afternoon, I'll get in the rocking chair. But hey, anyway, thank you for sharing what you're doing, man. It's truly an honor to be associated with you. For the general public, go to TruChiro, get the app. This is about a lifestyle difference, and this is one of the best tools that I know that you could take responsibility and do the right thing for you and your family. So get on that. If you're a doctor, go to the Truth Teller page.
Truth Teller, Facebook, private Facebook group,
Facebook page. Get involved with the group and get involved with that app so we can make a difference. Hey, man, the more we work together, the more impact we make.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me on.
Yep, my pleasure.